YouTube. Okay, yeah, finally we're going to look at my games from this weekend. Yeah. I have a lot to say about the last two. The first two, not as much, but yeah, the last two games are, especially this one. This one was fucking hilarious. That was definitely my favorite game. But okay, so yeah, this was round one. He had a provisional rating, but he had a chess name, so it was scary. And he also seemed to be, unfamiliar with the Kona tournament. He was like, "You have to bring your own set? What is this bullshit?" And just all the weird Kona things that were happening. I do win this game. In fact, it actually shows that. I think. Oh wait, there we go. Now you can see my name. All right, so I played 1d4. I might surprise some people, but I like d4. It's a lot easier. I was playing it on my alt a lot before this tournament, and it was really hard to lose games with d4 because you just don't have to exert as much energy. So I thought it would be fun. Yeah, and he played this move order, which is like the old Indian or whatever. It's also what I was expecting Rhett Langseth to play, so I had looked at it. But Rhett just plays it like it's a Philidor no matter what. He just does that. He just puts his pieces in the same. I have like 3 different Lee chess alts, but they wouldn't be effective if you knew what they were now, would they? Okay, so here I opted for G3. Okay. I don't have any chess.com accounts. Yeah, so yeah, I was looking at Catalan shit a lot because I like it. It's not a Catalan though. It's now a King's Indian. But I had a fun conversation with a master, and he was telling me after the game, he was like, "Oh, d4, I knew you had it in you." It's like, okay. And he was like, "Congratulations." I was like, "Okay, thanks." And then he said, you just need to brush up on your Catalan theory." And I was like, what do you mean? What was wrong with what I did? First of all, it wasn't a Catalan, but I didn't know that. I just started learning this shit, so. But it's inaccurate to call this a Catalan. But yeah, he said knight c3 was inaccurate, which is just wrong. It's just wrong, and I knew that when he said it. So a lot of the time in the Catalan, aka, the King's Indian with g3, it's not always just because I played g3 that doesn't make it a Catalan. But a lot of the time you want to bring your knight to e2. So you want to stay flexible with your development of your knight. So that's why I liked bringing this knight out first. Now, if he hasn't committed to d6 yet, there is an argument that knight c3 might be inaccurate, because if he had played something, that he showed the intention he was going to play d5 at some point and taking on c4. Yeah, I don't really want my knight on c3, because then when I put my queen on c2, it's blocked, and I don't have the option to play knight d2 and recapture on c4. But because he committed to d6, I don't need to do that, so knight c3 makes perfect sense here. And I told him all this, but, he didn't get it. Little bit above his level. So, okay, so it's a King's Indian. So he plays this move order, and I remembered looking at, so c6, this specific setup, black would like to put their bishop on f5. If I just play knight f3, then black will probably play bishop f5. And then it's a lot harder to get e4 in, because I've already blocked my bishop, and I can't put my queen on c2, so this kind of, slows everything down for me. So that is why e4 here is actually very accurate, which I knew. And just not allowing this now. So now the way he set up his pieces, it's a system. But the way he set up his pieces doesn't make a whole lot of sense against what I've done. So I'm already doing very well here. He castles, and the interesting thing here is, again, if he, keeps going with his little system, he plays something like queen a5, and he's threatening here. Knight e2 is the best move here, showing exactly why we wait to play knight f3. But, okay, whatever. What do I know? I'm just a 1900. Okay, but now knight f3 is fine. I gotta get the pieces out. And his whole idea with playing c6 is he wants to do this shit and swing the queen over, and maybe trade off the light screwed bishop, cause some ruckus over here. So, okay, first I first, okay, so he goes here, and I had a long think here. Initially I was thinking something like queen d3, because it's sort of preparing against this. I'm already stepping out of the pin, defending my pawn. But I ended up not liking that. I think castles is pretty much the only sensible way to defend the pawn, so castling is fine. And now he played h6, which is kind of a senseless move. I couldn't figure out the point of h6. It's just kind of stupid. Yeah, I don't really see a point. So h6 is quite a bad move. So here I considered h3, you know, just because this is kind of his only plan, and this kind of stops everything. But at the same time, I noticed that his queen is just kind of like doesn't have a whole lot of squares over here. And so I played bishop d2, and my idea is, okay, once he goes over here, I'm keeping an eye on one of his only flight squares. And I'm sort of forcing him to make a decision about where to put his queen. And now I already am having ideas of playing knight e2 to f4 and trapping his queen like this. Was my main thing I was trying to make happen, okay? So the reason I can't do it right now is because it would hang my e-pawn. Fair enough. I decided that queen b3 seemed to make some sense because I'm stepping out of any pins. I'm still keeping an eye on my f3 knight, so when I do this, it's, you know, this isn't actually a threat. Also, I'm keeping the bishop from developing. I'm just in sort of what I thought. You know, I obviously don't know anything about the Catalan, but I'm learning it. So in that sort of fashion, I was trying to kind of paralyze his pieces over here and strengthen my bishop, and just build up pressure. That's what I was doing. So yeah, now he has to prepare even more to develop his pieces. So he's moved his queen twice, and he made this useless move. And all of my pieces are developed, and I'm ready to start thinking about making a break in the center. This is not a Catalan. This is not. This is a King's Indian. But, you know, it's got those same flavors in there. The reason I thought it was... Okay, I'm an idiot. I'm not a master. I'm not required to actually know things and talk about them like I have authority. But the repertoire I was looking at was called the Catalan, even though it was basically a 1d4 full thing, okay? Ooh, thanks for the sub, Tim Cannon, for 2 months. Yeah, so he played b6, which is, I think, a terrible move. That's exactly what I want. Sure, it frees his bishop up to develop, but b6 is so fucking weakening, and it makes this bishop so, like, just a fucking monster. And now e5 is going to be coming, and it's going to be even stronger. And now the knight is also struggling to develop because it's going to have to babysit the c-pawn. So it's just really bad. Person who's only played the Catalan, getting a lot of Catalan vibes from this game. Cool, yeah. I only looked at it for like a few days before this tournament and decided to play it, so. Thanks for Twitch Prime, Chilato. Okay, so I played queen b3, and my intention was to either like force a huge concession over here, you know, make a hook, like I could do this, or, I mean, I don't know what else black does, like, to develop this. I'm not sure. He has to develop the knight first, maybe. Yeah, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense what he's done. So, okay, so b6, now I'm just ecstatic. And I came up with this idea that, okay, I would love to play e5 here. If I can play e5 and get away with it, that would be fantastic. However, if I do that right now, if I take with the pawn, I mean, he just goes knight g4. This is like a, you know, kind of a big problem. I'm not sure how I'm defending that because this is tied down to this square. And, like, I don't know, this looks not fun because it's also hard for me to get this in and start building pressure that way. It's probably okay, but I mean, it's just not what I want. And knight takes, I also thought this, and this is a fork, so I either have to go back to f3 or I have to take. Taking looked pretty bad because then I can't really defend this pawn in any helpful way. Like, okay, I played bishop b3, but I don't know, this is just not what I want. So e5 is definitely what I want to do, but it's hard to make work. So I decided to make it work anyway, and I played e5, and my idea is I'm just going to sack a pawn now. and I went rook e1. And this was my idea. So now I'm threatening to take with the rook and go forward with this plan and just trapping the queen. And if not, if he just takes on e4, okay, this is what he did. I went here. I thought queen g4 is definitely what he should do, because then he has more squares to utilize here. And I was thinking either knight a4 or knight e2 here, probably knight e2, and just, you know, play against his undeveloped queenside and his shitty c-pawn. But he played g5, which I think is kind of a mistake, because this was my whole idea. Yeah, it gives him this square. But now knight e2, and the threat still is knight f4, which is just forcing it, it's trapping the queen because it's, all the pieces are, I mean, all the squares are gone. And after knight f4, it's conveniently guarding the h3 squares, so if queen g4, there's bishop h3, or even just h3. Well, I mean after what he did, but yeah, bishop h3, and then the queen is trapped. So knight f4 is an enormous threat, and other than that, like, he goes here, I take, I don't know, I liked my position a lot here. His queen is so clumsy, and he has no development, and all my pieces are just so active, so I thought this was pretty disgusting. I don't know what black does here. I really don't. Like, if he tries to get his queen out of harm's way, then he's just further restricting his own pieces. So I thought this was a pretty interesting pawn sacrifice. But yeah, he thought for a long time here, and then he played this mystery move. Absolute. It just allows knight f4, which he missed. Which I don't understand how you miss, because that was my idea. It's even more baffling because he spent so much time here. I guess he was thinking about which pawn to save, but yeah. The interesting thing is, this sack is totally sound, you know, if he did anything I was considering, but kind of surprisingly, after queen g6, I guess it's not surprising. So queen g6 has a kind of a big point to it. The point is that he wants to play knight e4 and disconnect my rook from the other pieces here, which is kind of a big threat, because if I just ignore him and I go here, my rook is trapped, so I have to, I don't know, like, probably this, and even here, I don't know, I'm down a pawn in an exchange, but I still think I would win this, just because of how stupid his pieces are and how stupid this is, because, okay, my rook is coming into the 7th rank. I don't know how you would prevent that. So I still like white here, even though it says black is better. So yeah, queen g6. It's kind of weird because it's a diagonal retreat. So I didn't spend as much time looking at queen g6 as queen g4, because queen g4 is going forwards. But yeah, queen g6 is the only move to not be like worse. So, but he just played e6, which allows knight f4 right away. This is pretty sick. Look at his stupid queen. It's so stupid. And yeah, and I'll also show this. So h3 or bishop h3 are both fine. I think h3 is just better though. So he goes for this, and he got a rook and a piece for the queen, and he has two pawns right now. But he's not going to be able to hang on to all of these weak pawns, especially with how far behind he is in development. So here I decided to play g4 because this pawn's kind of a pain in the ass, and it's forcing him to go back, and now I have the choice of which pawn I want to take. I think both are good choices. I went for knight d4, and now I'm unleashing this light-squared bishop, which is just an absolute monster. Now e5, and I just take another pawn, and now I'm just trying to convert my advantage, just trade things off and make this easier. Yeah, and he played a... See, this is the weird thing with this guy. Okay, he's got a chess name, he had a chess accent. He said he was only there because his son was playing in a lower section and he didn't want to be bored. But yet he has the understanding that the bishop pair is worth more than keeping his exchange. Bishop takes g4 is actually the best move. And it surprised me, but it makes a lot of sense because the two bishops work so well together, and he could maybe get a fortress, is all I'm saying. And that is almost allowed at some point in the game. So he has enough understanding to do this, but he just hung knight f4, and he plays a weird system. So it's just, I don't know where to put this guy, skill level. This is his provisional rating. It was just a little bit weird. Like, it seems like he has some classic chess knowledge. Okay. So instead of just taking the rook right away, I was like, I'll get my bishop out of the way, and then, I don't know, maybe prepare to put a rook on an open file. And now I take. And here I made the decision to play f3 because I kind of want to freeze his pawns where they are. I don't want to allow any of this business, opening up this bishop and just running this pawn. I thought that would be pretty bad. So f3 seems like a good try. Now I am attacking this pawn, so he defends it, and I play queen b5. So now rook c8, and I simply just defend the pawn. Okay, and here, so I almost blundered here. I wanted to play b4 and just get this pawn going. Oops, not that one. But if I play b4, then my queen is trapped. Now it's just equal. And also I was thinking, even before this, seeing this type of thing, I don't know, knight d3 I thought was also kind of annoying. And the funny thing is, I didn't see this in the game. I did not see bishop d7. It was not why I didn't play b4. I didn't play b4 because of knight d3, which is equally good as bishop d7, which I think is hilarious. Because now e4 is coming in, probably. If I try and stay on this file, now e4, and now he has definite fortress chances here. Probably this first. And my king is kind of all fucked up. I have to do this, and this is... Now I'm starting to lose a lot of my compensation, and these... He only has 2 pieces for the queen, yet they're so fucking good, and they work so well together. This pawn is, on the 3rd rank, is worth like a rook, and also his knight is in my face. And my pieces are... I mean, his king is surprisingly relatively safe, which is the weirdest part for me. And here I think I just have to force a draw, because otherwise I might just be losing, because I don't know how I get out of this mating net. So I think white would have to force a draw here. So that's pretty insane. That is the reason I didn't play b4. I didn't even see bishop d7, but yeah, knight d3 is just like, why the fuck would I ever allow that? So all that thought when I could have just been like, I'm up material, trade. Okay. Okay, now I play queen e8. And I play this move, which is not a good move, but... Oh, I have queen c8. Okay, that's why he goes here. Okay, and then here it's a draw. But, okay, yeah, here I played queen d8, and my idea was, I'm sort of defending the c-pawn in a fancy way. But I'm actually not, really, because e4 is happening. And if black plays e4 right now, again, am I really winning here? I don't know. I don't know if I'd say I'm actually winning, because these bishops are so good. It's definitely suspicious at this point. So after e4, I probably have to do something hideous looking like this. And yeah, I'm definitely starting to lose my grip here. I would throw both sides, I know. So it's like, it's weird how, I just find it a little bit weird how he has this sense of understanding. He didn't play e4, but I don't know, bishop takes g4 was such a good move. I was quite impressed by that. So, okay, so king g6 doesn't make any sense to me, because immediately I'm just thinking eventually this check might be annoying, because you can't go back. I just played king f2, makes sense, just bringing the rook in, because this, yeah, he makes like really good moves like bishop g4, and then he makes moves like this, so it's very confusing. And now, okay, bishop f6 is another hideous blunder, so it's just a puzzle rush. So, rook g1 check, and king f5 is an immediate checkmate. So he can't do that, and therefore, if he can't go here, he's just losing the bishop. So he resigned here. But it was quite an interesting game, especially with how much compensation he has. What the fuck is this position? I did a lot of analysis earlier. Yeah, especially with how much compensation he has with the bishops here. I think this is almost impossible not to give black a fortress. So this was game 90 with a 30-second increment. Strong for his rating, but not his name, yes. Before the tournament, his provisional rating was like 1750. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was a little bit too aggressive, is what Josh said. It's funny, I'm trying to play more positional, yet I still went for just sacking a pawn and going after his queen like a madman. But it just felt like the position called for it, so, because just what he was doing was dumb, so I thought I had to punish it. Anyway, Bishop takes g4 was awesome, I thought. Bye Dennis. Bye YouTube.